old Nintendo gamer.
And son.
On to our recent games. Greg, you're the returning hero. What have you been playing?
Well, it's actually been a bit of an interesting few weeks because I haven't been speaking to you guys since it would have been before Christmas. And I remember coming home from work on that, I think it was 23rd of December, broken TV. my Wayne had just like put a toy through the front of it. So I kind of destroyed my plans of kind of focusing on the PS5 over Christmas and getting some time to maybe play through The Last of Us and stuff. So the Switch has had a wee bit of a redemption in that time. So it's I've actually picked up a few games on it. I haven't really played all of them yet. I've got stuff like picked up Bloodstained in the sale. Picked up A Short Hike, which I haven't started yet either. But the one that I do want to talk about today is the one that I think you want me to talk about as well, because there's been a wee bit of a debate on it on Discord. That's Snake Pass.
It was a heated debate.
Yeah, there's been quite a divide, and I think it's only really been Nick that's been championing the game, because obviously you played it at launch and you enjoyed it.
I did. I loved it. I had a great time.
Everybody else, pretty much, like Smiggle, Dazzy B and stuff, saying horrible controls. Mark DeRuss as well, I think he was chiming in as well, saying it's just a terrible game, and they all bowed out pretty much after the first stage and stuff. I think my viewpoint is probably a lot closer to Nick's, actually, than those guys, thankfully. It may just have been like the circumstance of when I actually got to play it and stuff, and like being able to sort of like sit and focus it. It's one of those games that I played pretty much exclusively in handheld, and I mean it looked fine and stuff there, but I usually had like a TV program on the background and just was able to sit and relax through like the 15 levels and just search for all the collectibles in the levels. Because like the formula doesn't really deviate. There's no story really to worry about. You basically have like this level, and then there'll be like 3 keys that you need to collect to like open up the portal to be able to exit the level. But then there's also like 20 blue. Is it 20 or 25 maybe? Not sure. 20. I think it's 20 blue orbs. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 20 blue orbs that you need to get, and also 5 coins to find as well. There's not really anything that sort of like differentiates like the placements of like the coins or the orbs and no real explanation as like why there is those different collectibles. It's not like the coins or like positions as something like it's a particularly difficult platforming challenge or whatever to get to collect the coins, because you have difficult challenges to collect the orbs as well. So like I said, there's no real difference between them, but like I find myself going for everything in the levels before I exit out, because of the way the levels are designed. Because if you had to go back into the level again, you would have to go and find the 3 keys again to open up the portal at the end of the level. So it's the way it worked kind of made it feel like you might as well just get everything on your first turn before exiting, and I enjoyed it like that. Like I just found myself pretty much doing just like 1 level a day, maybe a couple of levels in one day at the most, really. Because I did find like if you maybe tried to do more than that, it was becoming a wee bit of a slug, because it is very like repetitive. But I think the main issue was that everybody seemed to have was the controls, and like I wouldn't say the controls are amazing or anything, particularly when you're just kind of moving forward and you're having to like slither like and like moving the stick left and right and stuff. It doesn't feel great, but at the same time, if the controls weren't kind of awkward, I don't think the game would be that much fun, because like the joy is really like managing to like wrap yourself around these like branches and stuff and making sure you don't fall off, and like having to do each one in a certain way just to be able to like ascend up to like the next ledge or whatever, or collect like one of the tricky collectibles. So yeah, there are certainly moments of frustration when you see you feel like you're handling something right, or maybe the snake doesn't go the way you quite expect, and then you find yourself falling down and having to do it again. But generally, the checkpoints are sort of well enough placed that it's not too much of an issue. There are a couple of times where I find myself doing something difficult and then going back to a checkpoint just so I didn't have to do that again. But yeah, generally I did have a pretty good time. It was only really towards like the last few levels where there was like wind introduced, and that really like it kind of bored me a bit because I feared that it was going to start ruining my enjoyment of the game, because it seemed a bit unfair at times. Like, it was kind of hard to sort of predict the way the wind was going to work at times, like, because it seemed to there'd be like a sort of like gust which would sort of blow you away, and you'd kind of see like particles in the air or whatever that was sort of like showing the wind blowing, and then it would kind of stop for like a wee second maybe. But quite often it felt like I was still getting blown off when I maybe shouldn't have been. And yeah, definitely had a few irritating moments through that. But I'd like kind of fought through it and got to the end of the game. And yeah, like nothing really changed throughout the game. It was probably just maybe the right sort of length. It didn't, I think I must probably spent about 10 hours in it in total. And it never deviated from that formula of collecting all the same things, and it didn't really need to. Like, I didn't really care about the story. I think Nick's mentioned like the soundtrack maybe in the past, because it's David Wise that composed that. I never really experienced it that much. It kind of just blended into the background for me, and that was fine. That's all it needed to do. But like, because I was playing pretty much in handheld mode with TV on, I wasn't really listening to it anyway. So the soundtrack could be a lot better than maybe like I noticed it being, but it was what it was, and I was fine with that. But yeah, at $3.99, I had a pretty decent time with it. Like, it's not one, like, if the people that complain about the controls, yes, I get that point, and if you give it a couple of levels to like try and wrap your head around it, then yes, you might get some enjoyment from it. But like, if you're not enjoying it, then that's fair enough. I totally understand that as well. It's one of them things you'll either get into or you won't. But yeah, I was sort of pleasantly surprised by it.
Yeah, that's 2 out of 3 positive impressions for Snake Pass on our podcast. So it looks like I'm going to have to try it out then, yeah? See if I can we can have we'll have to rename our podcast the N-E Snake Pass podcast. Anything else you've been playing, Greg, or you want to talk about?
I resumed my save file on Super Mario Galaxy 2, which I had been playing like a few months ago, and I just yesterday, the day before yesterday, I just thought I'll get back into it. I was just in the mood for it, so got a few more green stars there, so working my way towards the 242 again. But there's a level that keeps coming up. I didn't like it the very first time I played Mario Galaxy 2, and then when I was playing it again recently and done it, like looking for the normal stars, just didn't really enjoy it. And then again, I'm having to revisit it again to get the green stars, and I tweeted about it. I can't even remember it.
Yeah, the beach one, isn't it?
Starshine Galaxy or something.
Starshine Beach.
Starshine Beach, yeah.
Something like that.
It's such a boring level. It's like, there's not much to it. It's like a big level kind of like filled with water. Obviously, it's like a beach thing, but it feels like so slow to traverse or something, and there's nothing really interesting in the level at all. It's I can't stand it. I can't wait till it's over. It kind of takes the shine off a great Mario game.
There's one particular shine that was in Sunshine. There's one particular star that I can remember. You have to use a powered up or a Yoshi running across the top of the water. Mm-hmm. I can remember that being particularly infuriating. Because Yoshi doesn't control particularly well, and the camera can't catch up with where you need to be to jump up to the top, I believe is that one. Yeah, that's that terrible. Well, not terrible level, but non-interesting level.
Well, it's terrible. Don't let it off.
I'm in back. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and give us a like if you've enjoyed our content. You can also check out our other great content on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and the N-E Café podcast from all good podcast providers. Just follow the links in the description below.